Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Waseem here again from Handsome Smiles. Thank you for joining me on another fragrance video. Today I'm going to be bringing you my top 5 tobacco fragrances to consider. This is going to be a part 2. So part 1 was recorded and released a few years ago, and since then I've been testing a lot more fragrances, and the 5 I've got today are the 5 standout fragrances with the note of tobacco which I would recommend someone to check out and to consider. I'm going to leave a link and I'm going to list the names of all the fragrances I'm going to talk about today in my description below, and a link to more in-depth reviews. The list today and the video today, I'm just going to give a quick overview of each scent. So starting off at number 5 is a fragrance from the House of Xerjoff, and the fragrance I'm talking about today is called Naxos. So Naxos gets a lot of comparisons to Thierry Mugler's Pure Havane, and I'm going to touch upon that a little bit later, but let's just talk about what this one smells like. So this one starts off really sweet, really smooth and very spicy, and for me the opening few stages has this cool medicinal feel. Now the cool medicinal feel that it has, along with that sweet honeyed accord, kind of reminds me of these cough sweets I used to have when I was younger. Whenever I used to have a cough or a sore throat, I used to have these cough sweets which were like honeyed lemon sort of sweets, and you also get a lemon note in the opening as well. And these cough sweets were called lockets, and the smell of these cough sweets reminds me in the opening of Naxos. As the fragrance develops into the heart, it loses that cool medicinal feel, and at this stage it's all about the honey and the jasmine. Those are the two prominent aspects of the fragrance, and they go into the dry down being the most prominent aspects of this scent as well, with that honey and the jasmine being the excellent, really dominant backing player. You also have the spicier, warm spicy accords coming from the notes of the cinnamon and the tobacco. The tobacco is more in the background of this fragrance, but it's still there, and it adds a healthy dose of warm spice along with the cinnamon. As I've said, this one gets a lot of comparisons to Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler, as they're both sweet tobacco scents. But I find that Pure Havane for me is more, has more going on in terms of scent. It changes a lot on my skin. It has more characteristics as it dries down. It gets the notes of patchouli, vanilla, cocoa. Whereas I feel Naxos is a little bit more linear, which is not a bad thing. It's just how the scent is. It's more, also I find that Naxos is more about the sweet note, so it's more about the honey and the jasmine, with the tobacco being a little bit more in the background. Whereas in Pure Havane, I find the tobacco is one of the most prominent aspects of that scent. But even so, I find both scents are excellent. I just find them to be really different, and I wouldn't really compare them. I'm not sure why the fragrance community compares Pure Havane to Naxos. I really don't find them to be a clone or anything like that. In terms of performance, Naxos on my skin is excellent. I get around 10 to 12 hours of longevity, with projection being very strong to excellent in the first 5 hours or so. After that, it sits a little bit more closer on my skin in the moderate range, but it still has a very good scent cloud around you. In terms of occasions, Naxos has that really high class, luxurious feel, which many tobacco scents don't really give out. So Naxos for me is a formal event scent as well as a night out scent as well. So at number 5, that was Xerjoff's Naxos. And number 4 is a fragrance from our independent house called Ineke Perfumes, and the fragrance we're talking about is Field Notes from Paris. So this one doesn't get a lot of talk on YouTube, which I'm really surprised by. It is actually a gem, actually a hidden gem. So Field Notes from Paris is a fragrance I've reviewed on this channel as well, so do check that one out if you want a more in-depth review. It's essentially a very fresh, juicy, spicy scent. And very sweet as well. It has a beautiful sweetness from the note of the beeswax. The opening is really about the freshness. You get a lot of bergamot and some spices, some fresh spices from the coriander. Into the heart, it's joined by like a really juicy sweetness coming from the African orange flower, the tonka bean and the beeswax. And as the fragrance dries down, the tobacco note really starts becoming stronger, and it really becomes the most prominent aspect of this scent. With the beeswax, the smooth, juicy beeswax being the excellent backing player. It's a really fresh, juicy, spicy scent, excellent tobacco fragrance. This one is a real Swiss army of a fragrance. I can see it being used in all seasons apart from summer, as it can be the spicy nature of the tobacco is slightly strong, so it would be quite overpowering for summer, but I would wear it in the spring, the fall and the winter. And in terms of occasions, this can be worn day or night for any occasions you can think of: date, work, night out, formal, casual, you name it. A real Swiss Army knife of a fragrance. That is Field Notes from Paris from the house of Ineke at number 4. At number 3 is a classic. I think you guys are already aware of this fragrance, and that is Versace's The Dreamer. So this one gets a lot of talk, and rightly so. It's a classic tobacco scent which is very affordable now, a budget friendly fragrance. I think here in the UK you can pick up a 100ml bottle for about £25 retail, which is excellent. So Versace's The Dreamer, the opening is quite intense. It's a clash of a lot of notes, and a lot of people find the opening to be a little bit off-putting. However, after a few minutes or so, it starts to settle down and becomes this fresh, powdery, clean, slightly soapy opening with a lot of spice. The main notes I get in the opening are the bergamot, the lavender and the tobacco. Into the heart, the fragrance then develops a sweet floral note as well, which adds a beautiful sweetness to the fragrance, a floral sweetness, very gentle. And as the fragrance dries down, it becomes more about the tobacco, the really wet tobacco. Now, a lot of fragrances have like a dry tobacco feel, some fragrances have like a sweet tobacco feel, some have a citrus feeling sort of tobacco, but the tobacco that I get in Versace's The Dreamer is that wet tobacco leaf, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a scent which gets better and better the longer it stays on your skin, and like the name suggests, it's quite a dreamy scent. Smelling it, kind of like, it's quite a mysterious fragrance which I really can't explain without you actually smelling it yourself. In terms of performance, Versace's The Dreamer is a strange one on me. I feel like I get a lot of nasal fatigue with this scent, as I find the projection is strong for the first hour and becomes a skin scent after that, but I've been receiving quite a lot of compliments wearing this scent as well. So it's quite a compliment getter as well, and people are able to detect it, but you might find yourself not being able to smell it too well on yourself due to nasal fatigue. In terms of longevity, I found Versace's The Dreamer lasted on my skin 6 to 8 hours. It's a fragrance which I feel is perfect for fall and winter, and can also be used for cooler spring days or nights as well. I wouldn't personally wear it in the summer, as I find the tobacco being a bit too strong for that season. In terms of occasions, I think again it's quite a versatile scent. I would wear it personally casually, nights out and dates especially. So that's at number 3, Versace's The Dreamer. At number 2 is a classic, again from the house of Versace. However, this one doesn't get talked about enough. It's a flanker, actually gets a lot of praise, but I feel like this is a real gem, and that is Versace's Man. Please note, it's not Versace's Man ou Fresh, it's the original Versace's Man. So this is an outstanding tobacco fragrance which I've reviewed on my channel, and when I first bought this decan, I wasn't really expecting much, but I was simply blown away, and I'm surprised not a lot of people talk about this one. So the opening is quite fresh. I find the opening is still quite dark, but it has a freshness quality. It smells to me, the opening, like a shisha or a hookah, a grape hookah. So it has like a fruity quality to it, a beautiful fruity, smoky, spicy tobacco quality in the opening. As the fragrance dries down, it becomes even more spicy. The saffron note adds a lovely warm, spicy oriental feel with the tobacco, which is more intense than the opening. And along with that, you get this really resinous, sweet amber accord, and overall it's just a beautiful, gorgeous fragrance with just a touch of like a Middle Eastern sort of feel because of the saffron and the amber. Really, I just really shocked that this one doesn't get talked about enough, and I absolutely love that grape shisha hookah sort of vibe that you get in the opening. In terms of seasons, this one is perfect for fall and the winter as well. I would personally wear it as a night out scent. Longevity on my skin is around 10 hours, with projection being quite moderate, but an excellent performer. That's at number 2, Versace's Man. And number 1 is a fragrance which is quite popular, and that is Dolce&Gabbana Pour Homme. So this is a classic from the 90s. There's a lot of talk regarding vintage as well as the new formulations. So there's made in Germany, made in the UK, and the original vintage made in Italy. And I've discussed this in more detail in my review, so do check that out. But essentially, D&G's Pour Homme is a very fresh, soapy, clean, citrus-based tobacco fragrance. So it opens with a blast of citrus, beautiful citrus notes, especially the note of the orange being very strong, and you also get some pepper as well, adding some fresh spiciness. As the fragrance develops, it then has a beautiful lavender note, which gives it a really fresh, soapy sort of quality. And as the fragrance dries down, the tobacco becomes more intense and adds a lot of spiciness. But essentially, it's a fresh, spicy tobacco scent, which is perfect for the summer months. So D&G's Pour Homme is a tobacco scent for the warmer climate. So if you're in the spring or the summer seasons, D&G's Pour Homme is excellent for those seasons. It can also work in the fall as well as the winter as well. It's a very versatile fragrance. I would wear it all seasons, for all occasions as well. This can work brilliantly as a work scent, as your casual scent, night out scent, formal scent as well. This one you could really wear, you know, if you're going to a wedding, a daytime wedding where it's quite sunny and it's outdoors and you're wearing your best clothes. This one will be perfect for that. So that was my list of top 5 tobacco fragrances to consider, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, then please do leave me a like and a comment below. And if there's any more tobacco fragrances you guys know of that you would recommend to someone, please do pop them down in the comments below. And guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Until next time, see you later.